All right. I think that was pretty good. Maybe. We'll see. All right. So something totally different for us, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Get your shit off my shit.
I know.
Get your shit off my shit.
So this is what I thought.
All right.
We would do video of the Q&A.
Right.
No editing whatsoever. Because I'm marrying up the video with the audio that's coming out of the mic. Because obviously the audio on the video camera sucks. But I'll put them out separately.
Okay.
So on Patreon, it'll be, okay, if you just want to hear the audio like normal,
Right.
do this one. And you can put that into your, whatchamacallit, your podcast app player.
Yeah. Your iPhone.
And then you can also, there will be a link to the video that goes with it. So
Gotcha.
I thought it'd be fun.
It's going to be exciting.
We'll try it out.
Okay.
Now, what I haven't figured out is how to get the video to be in our face. It's way over here. There's nothing I can do about that.
That's probably good.
And yeah, it's good for me. And I can't turn because I got to look at this monitor right here.
Yeah.
So how you been, man?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I just saw you like, what, 2 or 3 days ago. It
I know.
hasn't been very long
Not enough time has passed yet.
for us to need to know how everybody's doing.
I normally need more time to pass before I see you again.
Yeah.
But you did just feed me, so I'm thankful, you know?
Yeah, we had some lasagna.
Yeah.
Stouffer's. I love Stouffer's lasagna, man.
Yeah, it's like almost like homemade.
It is.
Except that it's not.
It's homemade. I made it. I put it in the oven.
Took it from freezer to oven.
My wife was like, actually, my wife put it in the oven. And then she's like, you know what? I'm going to leave. I'm going to go with my friends and I'm going to eat dinner.
Oh.
So you guys have fun.
Yeah.
And then my daughter left and she's like, I'm going to go eat with my boyfriend. You guys have fun.
Yeah, and she's talking about getting ice cream.
I know.
Like, what?
That's the way it goes in my house, man.
It is.
Somebody has got to work while everybody else is out gallivanting all around the town.
A lot of gallivanting.
Vanting. There's a lot of gallivanting. All right, man. So,
Still have my cold, though, man.
you know, you do a little, just to prove the fact that you do have a cold.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my throat is still not right.
Yeah.
It's not perfect at all by any means.
Not that it ever was.
No, not that it ever was. So we're going to do a Q&A episode.
All right.
Let's start out by giving our Patreon shout outs. We had Kathy Givner jumped out at our highest level.
She's a given.
Melissa Johnson.
Hey, Melissa.
Patty Murphy.
Patty Murphy.
Cricket Worrell.
Really? Cricket.
Cricket Worrell.
It's a fun game to play.
Maura Corbett.
Hey, more.
Breda Hale.
Hey, what's up, Breda?
Deanna Foster jumped up to above our highest level.
And the Foster coming through.
Yep. Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Mary Bells.
Hey, Mary.
Catherine Haynes.
What's up, Catherine?
Who is a huge supporter.
Oh, huge. Facebook, everything.
Dia Radal.
What's up, Dia?
Sarah Jones jumped out at our highest level.
Yeah, Sarah Jones just keeps showing around.
I know. Daisy Garcia.
I like that, Daisy.
Crystal McHale.
Hey, Crystal.
Lyndall Asquith.
What's up, Asquith?
Asquith.
Yeah,
I think we said her name previously. I think she might have jumped up or something.
she might have.
Aaron Unkefer.
Uncomfort? Yeah, uncomfort.
Jumped up past our highest level.
That's awesome.
And we had Jessica Mills,
Hey, Jessica.
Dana Bush,
Dana.
Glorious Lorius.
Ooh, the Glorious Lorious.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Okay,
but
GL.
it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now this one I got stumped on. I'm not usually, I'm often stumped by names.
Yeah.
How to pronounce them.
Sure.
This one, I was stumped as to how the person put the name in. Whether it was supposed to be
Flip-flop.
flip-flopped or not. So the way it's in there is Evans Pamalia.
I'm going to go with Pamalia Evans.
That's the way I thought too, or Pamela or whatever.
Right.
But it's actually put in there as Evans Pamalia. So
What's up, Evans? What's up, Pamela?
either way, we appreciate the support.
Got you covered.
We had Alyssa,
Hey, Alyssa.
Brock Mitchell,
Hey, Brock.
Leanna Jean,
Leanna.
Megan Spute.
Spute.
Yep.
Okay.
Nicholas Isby.
Hey, SB.
Christina Hughes.
What's up, Christina?
Ashley Lynch.
Hey, Ashley.
Lourdes Reyna.
Really?
Or it's just Lord. Well, how do you pronounce the singer one?
Just Lord.
Okay.
Yeah.
But isn't there an S on the end of it?
Excuse me.
Isn't there an S on the end of it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, there's not. This one has an S on the end of it, so I don't know.
Well, what's up, Lords?
Either way. This is going to be a tough one for no editing.
Because my cough.
Because of your cough.
Yeah.
Dark Nilla.
Dark Nilla?
Dark Nilla.
Okay.
Lindsay Spicuzza.
Spicuzza.
Alyssa Barton.
Hey, Alyssa.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Addison Betances.
Did you want to say Elizabeth like that show back in the day? You know, Elizabeth, you know how he puts his hand in the air and he screams Elizabeth, moving on up or whatever.
Are you talking about...
Excuse me.
Are you talking about Sanford and Son?
Yeah.
Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey.
That's it.
And then you said moving on up as if it was Good Times. Or, I mean, the Jeffersons.
I can't remember what Elizabeth was part of. That's it.
He puts his hand up and says Elizabeth.
That's right.
Yeah, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey.
You got it.
No, I wasn't thinking that, but it's actually funny now that you say it. Gina Pintano.
Patano.
Logan White.
Hey, Logan.
Emma.
Emma.
Katrina Lamont.
Hey, Katrina.
Jessica Massengill.
Hey, Massengill.
Lakshmi Thamuru.
Ooh, lots me.
Is what I'm going with.
I'm leaving it alone.
Amanda Norris.
Hey, Amanda.
Eliza Jane Brugge.
Man, Eliza.
Kirsty Adcock.
Hey, Kirsty.
Or Adoc. I don't know. I may have spelled that wrong.
Probably go with Adoc.
Could be Adoc.
Yeah.
Kara Flory.
Hey, Kara.
Jessica Dobney.
What's going on? Dobney.
Jennifer Jones.
Hey, Jennifer.
And Michelle Kelly.
What's up, Michelle?
It's a lot of amazing support.
That's a lot of names.
And then if we go back into the vault, Gibbs. Oh, I forgot to start the machine.
Oh, that's great, man.
Hey, you're seeing behind the...
You said
here's the
no edit.
No, there's no editing.
So
but you're going to cough through the whole thing.
You get a lot of Gibby's cough.
There's the vault sound.
Yeah.
This week we selected Gemma Hind. So
Gemma, yeah.
Gemma been with us a long time. And
sure has. Thank you for that.
A lot of people named Gemma. I think we announced a different person named Gemma last week.
Not on the vault.
No, not on the vault.
I know.
Yeah, 2 people in a row.
How amazing would that be?
Back to back named Gemma in the vault.
That'd be amazing.
But I guess, for me, having watched Sons of Anarchy pretty recently and Gemma being the matriarch, I'm pretty used to seeing that name, hearing that name.
I've never seen it before until we did this podcast. That's the first time I've seen it.
Did you watch the show?
No, I watched some of it, but I don't remember ever seeing a Gemma.
Gemma was the main person. It's Katie Seagal from Married with Children.
Oh, I remember her in the movie.
That's Gemma.
Oh, I didn't know what her name was. I just, hey, that's that lady
I just thought that's Elizabeth. I'm coming to join you,
I'm
honey.
to join you. I'm on my way.
So anyway, we
frog demon right there, man.
Yeah, the frog demon.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it, right? You and I say it all the time.
Sure.
Appreciate all the new support, all the continued support that we get month after month. It means a lot.
And what I really appreciate is that today.
Are you pointing your finger at me?
I was just letting you know. I appreciate you because I got here today and you have this brand new chair here for me.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, people are going to see that chair.
It's nice.
And you act like, oh, I've never sat in this before.
Yeah. Are they taking it away after we turn it off?
Yeah, so I rented it. That's what it is.
You rented it for the day?
I rented it just for this.
Okay.
But, yeah, this kind of blows your whole wood slotted.
Pan over and you can see the wood slotted.
No, you can't. You go ahead and pan over. You'll see my teeter machine that straightens out my back.
It's right it's over there.
All right, man. So I did not do an article this week again.
Okay.
I just thought because we're doing something different, we're doing the Q&A.
Sure.
And the fact that we are trying this video thing.
Yeah.
And I hope that it's something that we can add to Patreon moving forward. So we'll put this out this week.
Okay.
Next Saturday or week from this Saturday, you and I will have a brand new True Crime All the Time Patreon only episode.
Yeah.
Like a real episode. Probably will not do video unless I definitely want to see how this goes.
Okay.
My printer is doing something.
Yeah. And you always blaming me, like my phone. My phone's sitting here nice and quiet.
We just started. We're not even 10 minutes in.
Well, that's true.
And you're on tape. And I said there's no editing. So my assumption is you went through and did like a triple double quadruple check
Maybe.
on that phone.
Could be.
You probably texted your people you knew and said, oh, please, whatever you do, don't text me.
Don't do anything for the next hour.
Don't blow my phone up.
Yeah.
But no, the printer did make a little noise. So I say we get right into it.
All right.
We have questions that were posed to us from our, this is just from our Patreon folks.
Yeah.
This is not from the Facebook group. This is strictly those people that support us on Patreon that we love so much.
Love that.
Now, I've not showed you the questions ahead of time.
Nope.
I did print them out.
You did.
But for a reason. There are some in there that I can't say out loud, like you're going to have to read.
Oh.
So when we get to there, I'll...
You let me know. You say, hey, you need to read this.
Kind of follow along.
I got you.
So we had... and some of these aren't even questions, but I get a kick out of them anyway. Tish, not Trish, said, can we just have a whole episode of Gibby movie title mystery and inflation calculations? And she added the beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, and then a number, $34,752.
Yeah, we can do that.
People love that. I don't know, a whole episode of that might go a long way, more than what you'd like for it to go.
Who knows? Definitely can do it.
That's one of those things where nobody ever set out to do that, right? I mean, you didn't set out to start kind of going down these paths of, I think I know what this movie is, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
That's not an act. I mean, that's not something you made up for the podcast.
That's me.
That's just you.
Yep.
And then I don't know how we got into the inflation calculator. I think you just did it one time.
Yeah, and I think
without even without me prompting you, I think you must have said, well, that would probably be like
X amount of dollars.
And then I thought that was funny. So I just, whenever there's money involved, I like to.
You do your little beep, 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 whatever it is. Yeah. It's good stuff, man.
I think that's how it kind of all started.
Yeah.
Let's see. A lot of people saying, can we see a picture of you two? This is even better, right? Video.
Yeah, you got this, or you can go out to one of the Facebook pages, or
yeah, there is some out there.
Yeah.
So Carrie says, or asks, I should say ask, truth about Gibby. And she said she may have missed it on social media, but does he or has he worn a monitoring anklet?
Really?
She called it an anklet, which is something you would wear. And I think you do wear an anklet, whether it's monitoring or not.
Yeah, it's a really cool one, like gold chain.
It's anklet.
Yeah, a little anklet. Yeah.
So that, I don't even know where that started, but that started a long time ago. That was very early on.
Probably in the first year.
So, cat out of the bag, in all honesty, as far as I know, and I've known you for, quite a number of years, you have never been forced to wear an ankle monitor.
I just had to check with my attorney and the marshal.
Off screen.
And the marshal that's here.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like when celebrities do, when they do an interview with somebody and you can't see them, they're off screen.
Yeah, right.
The person says whether or not they can answer.
Yeah.
So.
No, I've never had to wear one.
I'm going to say no. Gibbs, that's the thing with Gibbs, though. You don't know.
Maybe.
If that is absolutely true, if that's what he wants you to think. You don't know. You got to roll with that type of stuff.
I will say that they're not comfortable if you happen to have to wear one. I don't know. That's what I hear.
If you've ever had one on, it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
So, Desi Yackle,
Yeah.
have either one of us been in a situation where we've been around a murderer? And so she goes on to kind of give this situation of the fact that she's in a class with a woman who actually killed someone and spent time in a mental hospital, pleaded guilty, I think, by reason of insanity, if I'm taking it all in. And so that's what she's asking us. Have we ever been around somebody that's killed someone besides each other?
Yeah. So, I mean, I have been around somebody. I mean, my ex-business partner is doing...
And you've told that story.
Yeah, I've told that story. Yeah, he's doing 20 to life for that. And then my neighbor, a few houses ago, across the street, doing the same.
So, and this is where I've given you a hard time before, because it seems like, and I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but wherever you happen to live,
Sure.
neighbors end up dead. That's all I'm saying.
Can't deny.
Now, other people are ultimately caught and prosecuted. Yes. It's still very suspicious.
Well, it's all in the planning.
That's why it's very suspicious.
Yeah, just got to plan it out right.
Because you are a good planner.
Otherwise, you're wearing that anklet bracelet.
You're wearing more than that. So Stephanie Golden writes, huge fan of TCATT, also a fan of Investigation ID, other true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
She says she noticed a while back that the commercials that we do are largely geared towards women. And then she read an article from a true crime writer that women are the largest audience for true crime. And she's noticed that the majority of our supporters are women. All that's true.
It is true.
So she says, have you guys given any thought to why that is? She wants to know, we know that's a fact.
Sure.
Right? You and I just talked about it the other day. I think our audience is somewhere in the neighborhood of probably 65, maybe 70% female.
Oh, easily.
At times it was probably even higher than that.
Yeah.
But I've heard some different takes on this. So, but I want to hear your thought first. So, because I forgot I said I was going to put you on the spot a bunch.
So first, it's probably 70% women, 20% men, 10% furry.
Well, that's true.
So
it's a huge furry population.
It is a big furry. I mean, you're the head of the group.
So. The de facto leader is what you're saying.
Yeah. And then I think is the fact that so many women like it, because women need to know. They like to know the details. I think they want to try to dive in and try to figure out why things happen.
Question.
Yeah.
Why something is the way it is.
Absolutely. They're really good at it.
No, they are. And I actually think women make very, very good detectives.
Oh, they're excellent at problem solving.
So, yeah, I don't know what the real reason is. Like I said, my wife's not a huge fan of true crime. Now, my daughters are.
Sure.
And my 18-year-old has really gotten into, the true crime documentaries and a lot of things like that. What she's told me is that, kind of like what you were saying, she likes the details, I personally think women and men too, to a large degree, you're trying to get into the mindset or the head of some of these people. And you're just, like, how can somebody do that?
Right.
And you're living, and I don't want to say living vicariously, because people don't want to do what these people are doing, but in a way it's almost like voyeuristic. You're looking at somebody else's life, them doing something that you don't condone and you can never see yourself doing.
But it's like watching it through a videotape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's voyeuristic in a way.
Kind of like this.
looking at through the camera. So Scott Erder, good buddy Scott.
Yeah.
What other podcast ideas have you thought about being something that we would be interested in trying out? And I think, you and I have talked about this maybe a little bit. Again, I put this out like a month ago. So some of these things we probably could have talked about since people posed the question. First and foremost is the movie.
Right.
And anybody that's been on Patreon for a while, heard our, or had the opportunity to hear our episode about the movie Bernie.
Right.
In conjunction with the TCATT Bernie. And I don't know. I had a lot of fun doing it.
It was a good time.
And for you and I, it's really just about, like, right now is a busy time for us.
Right.
With CrimeCon, Chicago. My daughter's got this dance, national dance thing that's like a whole week in Gatlinburg. It is a bad time to be coming out with something, but I don't think there's any doubt. You and I have said we're going to do it.
Yeah, we will.
And we're going to put it out like a regular podcast. Now, it's not going to be all true crime. We'll probably do some other tie-ins when and where we can, but there's just going to be some funny movies, some stupid movies, some, let's make fun of movies.
Yeah.
Let's do some good movies.
Some classics.
Some classics.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely, one. And then for me, one that I've kind of been working on that I think I will roll out is a little more geared towards business and brands. And it's a similar storytelling as true crime.
Right.
A lot less murder. There might be some murder.
Yeah.
I don't know how much murder.
Maybe.
But it's all about the brands that either you love or, you gave your loyalty to, and maybe they're no longer here.
Yeah.
So I kind of had an idea for that. Again, that one I think would be one that you could listen to with anybody. Super clean.
Yeah.
No issues there. But
And I'm going to do the one where I just read bedtime stories at night so people can fall asleep.
Because a lot of people fall asleep to our stuff anyway.
That's what they say. So I'm just going to read a different story every night or a different chapter.
You're going to read a whole story every night?
Yeah, let's don't get crazy.
How long do you think it takes these people to fall asleep?
Yeah, I think 10 minutes they're gone. I just need to read like chapter 1 and just like get a book would take me a whole year or longer.
Chapter 1 would take you quite a long time.
That's true.
Are you going to say all the words correctly, or are you just going to go with whatever you think they are?
I'm just going to do my own
Some
thing.
of those books have big words in them,
I
man.
know, that scares me a little bit. But I think I could go to the kids' library. And, I just got to stay away from the picture ones.
They just do like Good Night Moon. My kids always
Yeah.
liked Good Night Moon.
Or I could just make up my own story.
Exactly. Who knows? They're asleep. They're trying to sleep.
They don't care. Once they fall asleep, it's nothing.
Now, I will say this. I don't want to let too much out, but there is something that you and I have been toying around with, and that one is, I don't know if it's a book, I don't know if it's a podcast, I don't know if it's an audio book, I don't know if it's all three.
Yeah.
But it involves kind of this story about you and I being podcasters and
I know.
solving some things.
I think Vince Vaughn and Brad Pitt's in on it.
Yeah.
On the movie thing.
Right. I got to write it first, but
Yeah.
they're already in.
Yeah, they're in.
Vince
sure.
Vaughn signed on to play Gibby for sure
Yeah.
because he's like, I got to be Gibby.
Yeah. It's going to be weird because the height's, normally you're taller, I'm shorter, but.
Normally, no, like all the time. I'm always taller than you.
Well, that's true. Almost.
So there was a lot of people. Have you seen a lot of people on Facebook say, I thought Gibby would be taller.
Sorry, folks.
It's always something.
It's the 5'11", man.
Did your phone just go off?
It did.
There it goes again.
I turned
See,
it.
this is
I
what
can't control.
I've
I
been
can't
wanting
control
everybody.
Random people calling me.
I'm so happy about this video because the phone goes off. The chair is very nice. You have the same headphones that I have, the same mic set up.
I like how you did that, though.
Oh, like I just rented that too.
No, this is the other one that you have that you carry around with you.
I usually have two.
You do, yeah.
And you have like a little.
Yeah, I like how you hooked it up, man.
You cracked me up. Man.
So that's all right. That's all right, man.
But there was a lot of that. We get that a lot after the pictures get posted from CrimeCon. Oh, I thought, I had him switched, or I thought Gibby would be taller. I thought Ferg would have more hair, which I don't know why. I've always said I don't have any hair.
Yeah.
I thought Ferg would be skinnier. Ferg thinks he should be skinnier. Ferg's working on that.
He is working on it. There's going to be something big coming.
No, there is. I ordered this bike, one of those big Nordic track jobbies.
Yeah.
That's going to be my,
it's going to sit right there.
right past where the,
where you can't see me pointing.
So Sue Mearns,
Mm-hmm.
big supporter. And there's no reason for me to say big supporter. Everybody on here, right, is a Patreon supporter,
That's
big
for sure.
supporter.
Yeah.
She says, "Hi guys, will you ever broadcast an episode live where your viewers can get to see you in the flesh? Maybe one for Patreon subscribers." This is as close to live. Now, there are some options to do some things live.
Sure.
It would be just like this, right? Unedited, whatever comes out, comes out. That's an option. The other thing that you and I have talked about, and actually just talked about with the guys from True Crime Garage.
Yeah.
And maybe Generation Y, is actually doing some shows.
Yeah. Some live events.
And not just meetups, maybe actual live, come and watch us do, the podcast.
Yep.
I think that would be awesome. I think it would also be terrifying.
Yeah, for you.
For me. Since I am the one that does most of the talking, that induces a little bit of anxiety of having to carry it.
Yeah.
When it's, even this, there's a little bit, not much, but when you don't have that safety net of being able to edit out stupid things that you say, you and I already say a bunch of stupid things.
We really do.
People don't, they don't hear half of them. Some of the things we don't edit out and realize later that they're stupid, or somebody calls us out and says,
yeah, normally someone says, "Can't believe Gibby said that."
Yeah. But to do it live with no safety net, I've always had a lot of respect for people that do live things, like a comedian. Now they've rehearsed it, they have it down.
Yeah.
But a comedian, they're essentially doing the same set, I think, for a period of time. You and I do a different case each week. We don't have time to sit around and memorize it. We would have to go off of notes and things like that. But I still think if we could ever get it to work, it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so.
I really do.
Be a good time for all.
Yep. So Raven Ivanov asked, what was the impetus for the podcast, and how do you think you've changed since the beginning? So first of all, I'm sure that is an homage to me because I used the word impetus.
Well, and you fixed your problem with impetus.
I did have that problem with impetus.
Yeah. Yeah. You're taking the pill now.
And normally when I say a word like that, you always find a way to use it.
Yeah.
What was it last week? I said perpetuity.
Oh, the perpetuity.
And then you had to use it.
Yeah.
It cracked me up. So, I think the reason why it came about, and this is kind of hard to explain because I'm not really sure I even know. There was a time, maybe 2015, very early 2016, when I was listening to some true crime podcasts.
Yep.
And again, there wasn't that many out there. I think True Crime Garage maybe was out. I know Sword and Scale was out, Serial, but obviously you didn't have the plethora that you do today.
Yeah, not like today.
There wasn't the impetus to start another one and make it run in perpetuity.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
But now we have the perpetuity with the impetus behind it all, so it's all good.
But, to be honest with you, I was listening to it. I've always liked true crime, love true crime. And I think I came into you one day. We were at that point working at the exact same place. In the same building.
I kind of remember what happened.
And said, you know what? I think I'm going to start a podcast.
Yeah.
I think you might have said, what the hell's a podcast? Or I don't remember.
And I think I might have tried to lean you towards your Ubering stories.
Oh, yeah, that's true. At the time, I was doing some Ubering because I was bored.
And I tell people all this time, he didn't need Uber. He just wanted to see what it was all about. And he would come in with hilarious stories. And we all couldn't wait for him to get there because we wanted to hear
stories.
them.
I was doing it just for the stories.
Yeah.
I think I made a few $1,000. I actually made enough probably to buy some of the equipment.
Oh, I think you did, yeah.
To start the podcast, but more so I was doing it for the stories. It was so much fun.
Oh, they were perfect stories, man. They were awesome.
And that was a thought. I had a thought to maybe do an Uber type podcast, but I really kind of settled on true crime just because that's where I was at.
Right.
I said, "Hey, Gibbs, you want to try this?" And he was like, "Sure, I don't care.
I don't care.
I'll do it."
I'll do it.
If I would have said, "Do you want to do something else?" You probably would have been like, "Yeah, I'll try it. What do I care?"
He's like, "Gibbs, there's some drugs here on the desk. You want to do?
Do you want to try those?"
I'm like, okay.
So I think as far as the question of how we've changed since the beginning, quite a bit, actually.
Well, I used to call in Vice right here.
Yeah.
Like this. So I couldn't even use my phone if I wanted to. I'm like this on my headset,
This is the funniest part, right? Not only were you calling in on Skype.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like you were Skyping in on a computer like most people. You were Skyping in on your phone using like one of those little bendy mics.
Yeah, cheap things.
Oh my gosh. It's a
Episode
wonder.
1, 2, well, 1, skip 2 because he did it on by himself.
I did.
3, and then part of
4 or 5,
level 4, right? BTK, but
it was sometime around 4, 5, 6. I don't remember when, but that we
you can definitely tell the difference from me not us being in the same room and then us being here together because the quality got better because of the equipment. And then just the time, because I can see
that was the big problem.
When are you starting to talk and stopping the talk, right?
That was the big problem. I mean, the sound quality is what it is. But to me, the issue was we couldn't look each other in the eye.
Yeah.
Even if we did the video, it still wasn't the same.
Right.
So you had a point that you wanted to make, but you were like not sure if I was done, if I was going to be done.
Right. So I left it to the side, never said it.
And then you would forget to say it.
Or I jumped on top of you. And you forgot what you were going to say.
So this definitely just makes it, to me, seem like it got more natural. It got easier.
Yeah.
Once we were in the same room a little bit.
And I think once you learned the editing tool.
Yeah, that's true.
That got better, probably down around 20 or something.
In the very beginning, I was editing, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And so I was leaving, big, and some of those I've gone back and re-edited, but I was leaving big chunks of time where there was nothing, where it was just silence, leaving in the coughs and the things that people will hear on this because we're not editing.
Right.
And my voice, man, is already going. So this next one is one of the reasons why I printed it out.
Okay.
So I want you to read it because Heidi has a word that she wants you to try to say.
Oh.
So if I said it, that wouldn't work because then you could just parrot back what I said. You got to do it.
Oh, you want me to say that?
Yes.
Is that even legal to say?
Yeah, it's a real word.
All right. Kerfuffle.
I just want to hear Gibby pronounce words like kerfluffle.
Kerfuffle.
So, and it's not just that. She just wants to hear
You have a really nice kerfuffle. I like the way your kerfuffle looks.
That could be so strange.
I know. I don't even know what it means. Hey, is that a kerfuffle you got?
I don't think that's even close.
Well.
So, Alyssa, what do you got? No, Elsa Brita.
Okay.
This is one that I messed up when I did the name, I think, because you just look at that name as an American. What does that first name look like?
But I saw Frozen.
It's Ilsa. Ilsa? I never seen Frozen.
I'm just,
which is weird, I know, because everybody loves that movie.
Yeah.
By the time Frozen came out, my kids were old enough to where they weren't like super into Disney.
I gotcha.
So, I mean, maybe that is it. But when you look at it, you normally, I think I do, I would transpose the L and the
Well,
I.
that's where my dyslexia comes in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I just think it's because that's like an English looking, Elisa.
Yeah.
Is what we would say.
It looks very English.
But she wants to know, how long does it take to research everything each week? I think that's a great question.
Wow. Long time.
And I would add on not just the research, but the whole process.
Yeah.
So the research is, and people know, we've had a few people right over the years help us out with episodes. Every time they say the same thing. I had no idea how long this would take. And normally we give them, they'll take months sometimes to finish an episode, where you and I only have about a week.
Exactly.
To get it done and recorded.
It's a lot of detail.
But we also have it down. We've subscribed to a lot of things that most people don't subscribe to. But I would say, 10 to 15 hours.
Yeah, easily.
Of research and writing. And then, it probably takes about 3 to 4 hours to edit. It takes about 2 hours to record each episode.
And then double that for editing.
Yeah, double that. So it's usually about 4 hours to edit. Yeah. So you're easily getting up into the 40 hours to do both.
Especially if you're trying to find a lot of clips that could add to it.
And it depends on the case. I will say that, for me, and I think this is just me, it's part of my makeup. When you have a case like Ed Gein,
right?
A case like Dahmer, something that everybody knows, Menendez brothers, those are harder for me because the whole time I'm thinking, well, there's a bunch of people out there that know a lot of things about this case. I've got to get this thing, perfect. And I've got to get some nuggets that nobody's ever heard of. I know I put way more into those than actually need to make a good episode.
And I think for the unsolved, it's tough because you don't know where to stop.
Yeah.
Because you got the rabbit holes and you could keep going and going.
Unsolved is tough because you never really know from the get-go if you have enough to even pull off an episode.
Exactly. Which we found out 2 weeks ago with the Saying All Bang.
Which is why we had to add some extra
stuff at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a great case. It was very interesting, but there's only so much out there.
Right.
And once you glean every fact and everything that you can get your hands on, if that only ends up being 35 minutes, well, you can't BS for another 30 minutes.
No.
So
hey, we can try.
I do think that is the hard thing about Unsolved. It's not always apparent from the get-go.
Right.
Sometimes you and I both, you more than me, but we've gone down the path of researching an Unsolved to come to the conclusion that there's just not enough out there. Has there been a case, this is from Karen Washington, has there been a case that's been super requested that you just can't bring yourselves to do for whatever reason? And I would say for me, there is no case that I cannot cover. Like there's nothing that you would say, that you would suggest where I would say, Gibbs, you know what? I just can't do it.
No.
And now I know there are cases that are very hard for people. Some of the cases that involve, smaller children, cases that involve, women, men, everybody's got their different things. Animals obviously is a big trigger for people, but there's no specific case that just because this is a component of it that I would say I won't cover it. Now, there are some cases that I think would be very hard to cover. And one that jumps to mind for me is John Benet Ramsey.
Yeah.
I love that case. I'm fascinated by that case.
Sure. We've talked about it.
We've talked about doing it, and we probably will at some point do it. I think it would be one of the hardest unsolved to do.
Yeah.
Because number one, like I said, a lot of people know a lot about that case. And the other thing is, and we found this with the West Memphis 3, people get entrenched into, I think this person did it. No, I think this person did it. So what ends up happening is you're pissing people off.
Yeah. And I think it'd be the same way with Casey Anthony.
Yeah, Casey
that's another
Anthony.
one that comes to my mind.
Yeah, Jody Arias. I mean, we'll probably do all of them. There, eventually we will get to them, but I do think some of those are harder than others.
Yeah.
So Lydia said, how long had you two discussed and thought about doing the podcast? So I kind of talked about that, right?
Yeah.
This was not a big discussion. This was me walking into work one day saying, Gibbs, I'm going to do a true crime podcast. Would you be willing to try it with me?
Yeah. You want to sit across from me one day?
And you said, yeah, that was it. I mean, this wasn't a 6-month planning.
No. I think
expedition.
What people don't understand about you is that you are not a procrastinator when it comes to decisions. You make it and you go full bore. Really, you really do.
I do. I mean, it's like that bike thing, right?
Yeah.
I started thinking about I need to get in shape. I'm going between these two very expensive bikes, and once I made the decision, that was it. I bought it.
Yeah, yeah. You have a lot of really good stuff around your house that you make very fast decisions. That one day I'm waiting for the garage sale because I know it's good quality and it was hardly ever used, and I'll clean up really good.
So part of that is great, right? Part of that is I get stuff done. I try things that some people wouldn't try.
Yep.
The flip side of that is I have a Fender Stratocaster.
Right there.
I have some other things that I've used like 3 times.
Yeah, I know, man.
And I try it and I'm like, I can't play the guitar and I really don't want to learn.
But it's a really nice guitar.
I actually have 2 guitars.
I see them over there. I see them all the time.
So if you'd like to have one, if you want to pick it up,
just start playing for everybody.
I remember back in the day when my wife and I first met, this was back when rollerblading was a big deal.
Okay.
So of course I go out, buy the $150 roller, whatever.
Sure.
At the time they were, real expensive rollerblades. I can't rollerblade.
Yeah.
And to this day cannot rollerblade. But
you have the nice set
I didn't buy the $19 ones to see if I could. I bought the $150 thinking, well, sure, I can rollerblade. So why wouldn't I want to have the best available? That's how my mind works. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it bites me in the ass.
That's why I knew when I came over all those years before this that you always had that really nice chair. And I had this like slotted wood thing, man. But it's cool.
Okay.
I'm
putting this whole shit to rest. Listen.
I want you to see this.
I'm putting this whole thing to rest. So, number one, nobody has a wooded slotted chair. I don't even know what that is.
Slatted,
slotted, whatever. When there was nothing in this corner, I want the camera to pick this up.
Okay.
There was nothing in this corner. You turn that on too, by the way, right?
Oh, did I supposed to hit the record
button? If we
button?
get through this whole thing and that's not recording,
I hit the button.
I'm kicking you right in
You heard it. It said beep.
Keister. There was nothing in this corner.
Right.
Not a thing. So I bought the desk, bought all this stuff.
What if it runs out? Do you know if it runs out?
I know how it's got a couple hours.
Oh, okay.
Went to Sam's, bought 2 like $49.99 chairs. I remember this is 3 years ago and I remember it.
Do you?
Like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
They were not comfortable. So then, if you remember, I went back and I bought the gel padded thing that sat on the seat.
For your seat, yeah.
For both of ours.
Yeah, for yours, yeah.
So
No, it was good. We had okay chairs.
They were just cheap.
Yeah.
They were cheap.
Well, weren't sure.
Plus,
I just said you go all out, but in that case.
The chairs I did. I went a little skimpy for some reason.
Yeah, you did.
But the other thing was, I said it takes us about 2 hours to record.
Yeah. Oh.
We used to go to like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, so
we were
much
so
longer.
bad. And then it would take me 8 hours to edit one episode.
I'd get here at 5:30. We eat down here by 6 midnight. I'd be like walking up the stairs, man.
If that. Sometimes it was 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and you'd be like, I don't even know how this is going to edit out.
I know.
And I'm like, I don't know. I'm going home and go to bed. Man.
Whatever it is, it is.
Yeah.
And, but it's worked out.
Yeah, it has.
Now
we're more efficient.
Our good friend Lottie
Yeah.
Kavist wants to know how many chips I've collected. And she wants to know when you're going to start collecting something. So I'll start first. I collect 2 things.
Okay.
The chips and magnets. A lot of people send me magnets.
They do.
Too. I love magnets.
They do.
Got one from Amsterdam, different cities, cool things.
Yeah.
The problem is you're not a big collector
No, I'm not.
of anything.
Gold coins, yes.
Bullion.
Bullion. precious gems.
Stocks.
Stocks.
Die Hard bearer bonds or
bearer
whatever.
bonds, yeah.
Gibby likes that type of stuff.
Yeah. But I appreciate, people send us jerky. I love jerky.
Sure. Yeah. You and I can tear up some jerky like nobody else. So the other thing Lottie wants to know, when is Gibby going to lead an episode?
Well,
when my throat doesn't work, which was almost happened this past week.
Be careful what you ask for.
Be careful.
Be careful what you ask for. Probably will unsolved, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably do it one of these days.
Well, you could do it. It's not. Now, I will say this. It's not as easy as what people think.
Yeah.
Because, we're not reading from like word for word. And so you do have to be able to think on your feet, just like we're sitting here talking.
Yeah. There's a big difference between how we process the information and spit it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's in our head. You're very good at what you do.
Well, I have this weird thing, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but I can read like really quick ahead.
Yeah.
And read it, process it, and then figure out how I want to say it.
Exactly.
So that when it comes to that time where we're going to say it, I've already figured out how I want to say it.
Yep.
I don't have to sit there and go, oh, I want to do it this way or that way.
Right.
But yeah, I think it would be fun. I would love for you to lead one and then let me be the person that gets all the laughs and I'm Team Fergie.
There's plenty of Team Fergie out there. Plenty of Team Fergie.
And then I'll do some crazy, inflation calculation.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy.
Beep, bop, beep, bop, beep, bop, bop. Yep. Well, listen. Before we can do that, we got to have like enough time in the night to actually do it because
it may take a while.
It's going to take a while.
It may take a while.
Yeah. Probably double up the amount of time it normally would take.
Lottie also wants to know, or she actually says, I've heard that some podcasters get threats, hateful messages. Has that happened to you? Not threats. We've had our fair share of hateful.
Yeah. Some scary. But not threats.
Had anything scary, I don't think. I've had a lot of stuff that, even that my daughter's read and she's like, Dad, she just said it the other day. Maybe she was reading a review or something and the review was pretty hateful.
Yeah.
And she said, doesn't that make you feel bad? She felt bad for me. She's like, well, they don't like my dad. I was like, honey, plenty of people like the show.
Yeah.
You're going to have those folks that, for whatever reason, don't like the way we do it. And
they can't stand me half the time.
Yeah, it's me too. It's just the way it goes. Yeah. But
and my thing is, if you don't like us, I guess why are you listening?
Yeah, listen to something else. It's fine.
It's just, I find it really weird that somebody that can't stand the way that I
would take the time to
write a message about how I can't stand how Gibby does this and that.
Yeah, I've always
just quit listening.
I've always thought that's funny. Christine Peterson.
Yes.
Any suggestions to anyone thinking about starting a true crime podcast? And I actually have a lot. I've talked to a lot of people over the years starting out, and some of it I think I've already said. It's going to be 10 times more work than you ever thought it would be.
Absolutely.
That's the first thing I would say.
Yep.
It's not going to be near as easy as you think. It's going to require to do it right, or to do it the way that I feel like is right.
Right.
Now, if you just want to sit and read off Wikipedia or something like that, I mean,
Yeah, you could do that.
That's different. But to really put in the research and understand it, and come with the right facts, it's going to take like every night.
Yeah.
Which is what it took while I still had a job.
Yeah.
And what it takes you too.
It's not as easy as it seems at all.
Yeah.
It really is really not.
And people that start one, they'll tell you. People that have reached out to me and said, hey, I'm starting one. I'll help them, give them advice. They always come back later and say, hey, man, I'm doing it, but I'm struggling. It's hard. And there are big time, well-known podcasters that think about giving it up.
Yeah.
People don't know that.
Oh, yeah. We hear it all the time.
Yeah, because they're just like, it is a grind. It is an absolute grind.
It can suck away your time with your family, or just your own time that you might want to do something else.
Yeah.
Because you have commitments, you have things you got to get done, and it's just not easy. And there's pretty successful people that try it and don't make it either, right? Sure. You just can't throw a name out there, right? Because people might not like the way that you
people have tried it.
Yeah.
So Kate asked a similar question, but it's about why a large percent of Patreon supporters are women. It's along that same line, right? Is it true that women are more into it, or she says, are male listeners just cheaper than women? Which could be too.
I don't know. Yeah.
I know you would never pay for Patreon.
I would never pay for Patreon. Never, ever. But thank you. I'm glad you guys do.
Let's see. Erica Chong, have you guys ever thought about getting a TCATT jingle or mic rapping to the opening theme? That's always an option. Always an option.
Get him the rap.
I don't know. I think we're pretty set with what we have.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Music, people are used to it.
I could break out a little Mikey G or something.
Tamara Tomko.
Yeah.
Are gun questions allowed? Yes, gun questions are allowed. She wants to know what my everyday carry is. Some people don't like the fact that I carry. It's just me. I mean, it's what I do.
Yeah.
I carry a Sig Sauer P365. That's what I carry.
And that's how he makes sure that I stay in the seat until everything's done.
Right.
He points to it every now and then.
She actually carries a bigger gun than I do. She carries a 45.
Wow.
But it's what makes me feel good. It feels safe. I like it. Dave Regan, are you guys like me when you're out for a walk and expect the guy walking past you to turn and attack you? What about when you're out and you see areas that would be good body disposal sites? So the first one for me, totally true.
Yeah.
I was walking with my daughter the other day, and I think she was behind me or something. I turned around and talked to her. Whatever it was, she walked by someone and she had no idea what that person was doing after she passed them.
Right.
So we had this conversation about like, you just can't blindly walk past and assume that the person that just passed you keeps going on a straight line.
Right.
I mean, I just give like a quick little thing. Yeah. If that person has turned, then
she's headed off to college, man.
We have a problem. Yeah. And she's an 18-year-old, girl, and she needs to watch out for that stuff. But as a 45-year-old man, it's something that goes through my mind.
And what do we say? Keep your head
on a swivel.
There you go. Not in the same way. I always size it up. I'm kind of like that Matt Damon movie. We sitting at that bar.
Yeah, because he's only done one. So let's figure out which one Matt Damon.
The one where he's like the action pack, man.
Action pack. Jason Bourne?
Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
the first
not only one, but his probably one of his most famous roles.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one. So he's sitting at the bar, remember, with the girl, and he's like saying, I can outrun that guy for at least so many minutes before he runs out of breath. He's sizing everybody up. He knows who he can take.
You've said this before, and again, it's not how the movie goes.
Something like that.
It was, I can run flat out.
Yeah.
Remember, you and I figured it out. It was like, I can run flat out for like X number of minutes, I think, before I get tired.
All I know is I can flat out run you long enough.
You can flat out run me?
Yeah.
No, you can definitely outrun me.
I think I can outrun you. Might not get much further, but I'll get there a little bit sooner. You know, but then again, you're carrying, you're just turning around and taking care of it anyway.
I'm quick in short bursts.
Yeah. That's what.
When will you guys do a live show or Patreon meet and greet? Your peeps want to meet you. So that's Rhonda Allred. And Rhonda's a unbelievable supporter. Obviously, we just did a big one at CrimeCon.
We did.
And that's huge.
And we're doing one in a month from now.
And we'll be in Chicago in a month from now. But I would like to do a Dayton one or a Dayton Cincinnati one.
Sure.
I think that would be
centralized.
I still have this fear that no one will show up.
Yeah.
That we would go through and it would just be like this scarring event where nobody would come.
We walk out going.
Yeah. But we'll work on that.
Yeah.
Sierra Gillette.
Okay.
Wants to know if we hang outside the podcast. You seem to have an amazing friendship. So I think we've always gotten along well.
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny because this is part of what we get dinged for is, well, I think it's viewed as I bust your chops. What people don't realize, and I've said this before, is you bust chops better than anybody. But when you get on the podcast, then you're in Gibby mode. And
Gibby mode.
There's a Team Gibby underdog quality that you're trying to promote.
I don't know.
No, just say that you don't know. I know. I know you in real life.
Yeah.
And people that know you in real life have said the same thing, that listen to the podcast. Not quite the same Gibby all the time.
People know me.
People know you, but I do get a lot of shit for that.
You do get some, sure.
Oh, lay off Gibby.
So rough on
You're too rough on Gibby.
Yeah. Sometimes you are.
Well, sometimes I am.
Yeah.
I usually edit. The strange thing is, most of that I edit out.
Yeah.
The stuff that makes it, that's pretty tame.
I know. They'd be shocked if they heard some of
They actually would.
me in my fetal position on the ground. Stop.
Melissa Kecker, would you guys do an episode with your wives or kids? Also, can we get a Patreon episode of Fergie's Uber stories and Gibby's UPS stories? That actually is a good idea.
Oh, I got some great UPS stories.
We should do a whole Patreon only episode.
Oh, wow.
About the time that
censored or uncensored?
No, uncensored.
Oh,
about the time that I took the sex worker from Dayton, Ohio
to
Fort Wayne, Indiana in the back of my truck.
That would be good.
That would take up a whole hour. I could tell that story for an hour.
You not knowing that you were driving around potential drug deal.
That's true. That's true. I think I did facilitate a major drug deal at one point.
I'm fairly certain that you did.
Yep.
So hence the large amount of tip money that you got at the end of the night.
It was huge. It was a huge tip.
So,
and it really, to be honest with you, what else we'll save it because we'll do this, but it wasn't until that point that I got the huge tip that it really truly sank in. I thought, okay, something's not right here, but I'm just driving people from point A to point B. But once the big tip came in, I was pretty sure that I was part of an illicit. I
think it's safe to say you were.
That was. What else? Valerie Power. I also want to know, have ye any plans to do a tour, specifically Europe, super specifically Ireland?
So why not? We met two really cool Irish girls.
Oh yeah, we met some
that are huge fans of the podcast.
Yeah, and some women from Ireland that were great. So I just said that I'd like to do a Dayton, Cincinnati, Indy type meetup. Let's try that first before we head over to Dublin. And people are like, "Who the F are these guys?"
But St. Patty's Day. We can go to the St. Patty's Day bar. But this is our meetup. We know they're not there to see us, but we can feel good like they came in to see us.
Sure. I mean, a lot of people do it, right? we can't compare ourselves to like My Favorite Murder or
No.
anybody like that. But there are people like Generation Wise going over and doing
Yeah.
things. And so I don't think it's out of the question.
I think ask that question at the end of the year and see where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah. Valerie also she asked a lot of questions here, so I won't read them all because we're already at an hour. She talked about us saving Big Ed for the hundo.
Okay.
And she's asking, are we holding back some of the big hitters for special occasions? So I would say, yeah, I don't know if I would say special occasions, but that was one of the things that I didn't kind of made, or that we talked about very early on. I just didn't want to run through
Yeah, you don't want boom, boom, boom.
No, Dahmer, Gacy. I just didn't want to run through all of these people.
Yeah.
I want to space them out because, and the other reason is I think people truly enjoy hearing about some of the ones that are less well known.
Yeah, and I think we don't want it. And also, if there's been a lot about that person recently, we're probably not going to do it right then, right?
Yeah.
Let's sit back and come back and do our own thing.
I was working on Ivan Milat,
right?
The Australian backpacker guy, and I was ready to record it, or you and I were going to record it, and all of a sudden, Case File came out with like a big 3-4 part or whatever it was. So again, when something like that happens, I don't want to put that out because a lot of people listen to Case File too, and it would just be strange. So we put that on the back burner. That's happened a couple times.
Yeah, a few times.
Nell Elise, how does doing this podcast affect you guys mentally? And again, I think this is another great question. She says, I have to take breaks listening and honestly hate anything having to do with kids, but I do look at people differently now. Are you more aware or suspicious of people and things around you? Cheers from Idaho. I said she. I think I hope that's a woman. I think for me, and you and I have talked about it a little bit, it's just, it can put you in a dark place if you're not careful, right? It's when you mention 10, 15, sometimes 20 hours of research on a nasty case.
Yeah.
that can put you in a bad place.
Yeah, it messes me up when it has to do with kids. For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And definitely depending on the subject and the victims. And so that's where you get into, okay, so how are you going to cleanse that palate? I do it through listening to comedy or watching, comedy.
Always Sunny in Philly.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Listen to, funny podcasts or something like that. But I think you have to do that.
You do.
And you have to take breaks and hang out with the family and all that. Bri. Couple of questions.
Bri or Bree?
I don't know. Could be Bree. All about guilty. Stephen Avery, guilty or not? Michael Peterson, guilty or not?
Michael Peterson, guilty.
Michael Peterson, guilty?
Yep.
I just don't know about Stephen Avery, man. That case, that's a case. That actually is a case that I think would be damn near impossible to do.
Yeah.
Because I keep going back and forth on
seen both sides.
Oh my gosh.
Heard from both sides.
You think about this guy that is supposed to, he did 18 years.
Yep.
So he gets out, he's supposed to get all this money. But yeah, he's going to go kill this woman. I'm not saying he didn't, because, he doesn't have a great track record.
Right.
Aside from the fact that he actually didn't commit the first murder. But I just don't know. I don't know. These cases, I cannot sit and say yay or nay. I just can't, because I don't have all the facts.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I couldn't really say on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael Peterson, for me,
guilty.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go with you on that. Kim Bookout. Where did the term "keep your own time ticking" come from?
Well, I was at a coffee shop. And no, I know where this came from. Mike will tell you.
Yeah, I think it either, and actually my wife and kids, they fight about it, because this is this may have been either I've talked to you or I haven't even talked to you yet
Yeah.
about the podcast. It was coming up with the name, a logo. And I remember saying, okay, I got to have something that I'm going to say at the end of these episodes. And it was, I think, either my wife or one of the kids.
I think it was one of the kids.
Because of the time, True Crime All the Time was already.
Right.
I'd already come up with that. So they just took it a step further and said, keep your own time ticking. I think you're right. I think it was one of the kids.
I'm going to back the kids on that one.
Sarah Jane Jarvis. What was the one case that really ignited your interest in true crime? She also wants us to do more UK crimes. James Bulger. That's one we get many requests. We do
get a lot for that one.
But she lists a bunch of other ones too. So what do you got, Gibbs? You got any that like a very specific case?
I don't know if I have a specific one. I mean, I gravitate to the really older ones.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of got my attention.
Yeah, some of the famous older ones that you're just like, oh man, I wish I knew the answer to that.
Exactly.
I think I have a hard time picking one case. What I will say is, like, my memories are not of a very specific murder or murderer. My memories are of like shows. I remember watching American Justice.
Yeah.
Or there was a show on HBO. It was called Autopsies with Dr. Michael Baden.
I remember those.
I mean, I just couldn't get enough. And I was probably like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, way too young to be watching and hearing about how all these people died. And I really don't know how old I was, but I think those started really early. Those are what I really remember as kind of being, oh, this stuff is fascinating. You playing with the frog demon?
A little bit.
My voice is literally.
And mine's same. I've been talking
on the
whole
edge
time.
You've been
doing it all.
He says that every time.
It's all me.
All right, Amy Morley.
Mm-hmm.
If you could talk to any serial killer, dead or alive, who would it be? And what's your number one question you'd have for them? Talk to any serial killer, dead or alive. I think for me, I don't know. I was kind of thinking I would go with somebody that they haven't caught yet. Like if we would have been doing it last year before they caught GSK,
right?
I would say I'd like to talk to that guy.
Yeah,
I'd like to understand why in the hell he did what he did, how to get away with it for so long.
Sure.
You could throw Zodiac in there. I don't know if I would lean towards that or somebody that we know killed, like a Gacy or, something like that. You go Jack the Ripper, go back, ways.
Talk to Ed and say, what does it feel like to wear a
Actually, you know what? Ed Gein or Ed Kemper. Ed Kemper would be so interesting to talk to.
Well, he definitely would carry good conversation.
Although we've already heard a lot of his conversation.
Yeah.
I do think for me, the question, I don't know if it's one question, but the theme of the questions would all be around this.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it deep inside that
makes you tick?
Yeah.
That'd be a good one for BTK, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
What is it? What's the compulsion? Is it like, you haven't had a cigarette in 3 months and you have to have a cigarette?
Right.
I don't know.
It definitely would be interesting. It'd be like, would be even cooler is if you could bring, for one night only, you could bring them back or bring them into a Coliseum.
Mm-hmm. With Elvis. You can do a joint concert with Elvis.
Bring him in, pack it full, let people just hear what they have to say.
Ask questions.
Yeah, and the money that gets brought in goes to all the victims, right?
Actually, that'd be great.
But it'd just be good to like get it all on record. Like how did it all go down?
But I do think that's it. It's what I would want to know is why. I mean, why is it that you either started or couldn't stop, or what kept propelling you or compelling you on.
I think I'd probably go with Dexter.
Oh, Dexter, man.
I mean, hey, Dexter.
I missed that show.
Yeah.
She also said, if you could visit one place where a crime was committed, what place would you pick?
Ooh.
One place where a crime was committed. Oh, that's a tough one.
It really is a tough one.
I'm trying to think of a... Oh, what was that one we did in Italy? That one that you did...
with the house and the barn?
The monster, the El Mostro.
Oh, yeah. Providence, whatever. I can't remember the name.
Providence, whatever.
I don't remember. But I know what you're talking about over in Italy.
El Mostro or whatever.
El Mostro.
The monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. I've never been to Italy. Italy's a place where I've always wanted to go.
It'd be neat to see.
Plus, we could hang out with the Florence foodies and they could
Oh, man, the Florence foodies.
take us around.
They'd serve us all kind of goodies, There'd be pastas and things like that.
So she's got one more, and I think these are interesting questions. If you could speak to one victim, who would it be, and what question would you ask? I think for that, no, you go ahead. Sound like maybe you had something.
I'd say Sandra Cantu. Just I just wanted to tell her sorry. Just wanted her. Can't imagine the pain she went through. I just want to put my hands on her and say,
yeah,
I'm sorry you weren't comforted.
That's a case we did so early on, but I can tell every time we talk about it, that's like one of those ones that has haunted you.
Yeah, it's
from the time that we did it, and she was such a just a cute little girl, and I guess I was I see where you're coming from. I was headed more towards the like a Martha Moxley or one of those ones where Natalie Wood.
Oh yeah,
where you could find out,
hey, who pushed you off the boat?
Actually, what happened is probably where I would go to. Amy also says she'll be sending a care package soon, so be on the lookout for that.
Thanks, Amy.
All right, last one. Jake Workman.
All right, Jake,
fellow Ohio resident.
Awesome.
Was wondering for us what Ohio-based crimes we're most interested in.
Ooh.
He says he's drawn to Matthew Hoffman.
Good one.
Donna Marie Roberts, which I don't know which one that is. I'll have to look. Matthew Hoffman, that was a very strange case.
It was. He's a leafer.
I guess for me, I would say, and I think we may have talked about it before, but the Erica Baker case, just because it was so local. That's one that I think we'll do at some point. You take your pick. Ohio, I don't know if it's worse in other states, but it sure seems to have its share.
We definitely have our fair share.
But, if you look at Louisiana, Florida, Texas, they all have it. They all have it.
There's bad people everywhere.
There is. There's bad people in this room.
True. Let me check my attorney out, make sure you can say that.
All right, Gibbs. So that's about an hour and 13 minutes. My voice is going. I think, this is the first time we're trying it. It could work. It could be a total failure.
I was probably off video the whole time, sitting way back here.
Were you?
No, I think I was in.
Okay.
I don't remember how.
I don't either. I'm not even sure if you pushed the button.
I don't either. I don't see like a red button.
I don't either. That's what's scaring me.
I mean, I hit the button.
Did you hit the button?
I hit the button.
All right. Hit the button.
I don't know.
So I think if this works, right?
Yeah.
No, the other thing is I got to figure out how to edit it because you got to take the audio from these sweet microphones.
Right.
And marry it up with that video. And then we'll put it out as audio only. I'll put it out as audio and video probably together. And then people can choose how they want to digest it. But if it works, then we'll do it.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why I didn't want to have to edit it.
Right.
So hopefully people are okay with kind of some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, sorry, have a little cough going on right now.
A lot of, our voices are messed up, but a lot of people have said they want to hear more of actual cases behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
They want to hear the mess ups. They want to hear the dog walk upstairs.
Oh.
I don't know.
Surprisingly, we didn't have that many mess ups.
No.
which
No.
is good for me because normally it means I messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't asking you to do a whole lot.
No, that's true.
Neither one of us had to carry like a huge,
Yeah,
load. So
that's true.
I was just asking questions and kind of answering them however we wanted to. There was no right or wrong answer.
But that's thankfully.
But unlike, with an episode, it's different, right? There are facts,
Sure.
and those facts have to be told a certain way.
Yeah.
If they're not, then it leads the listener down the wrong path.
And it
You and I have done that
messes up your impetus.
Messes up my impetus,
Yeah.
which I've been working on. But you and I do that all the time. We will. What am I thinking of? We'll think something means something that it doesn't,
Right.
and that thought leads us down a path of riffing on something, to then later find out that we are so completely full of shit that we have to scrap like the last 7 minutes.
The whole. Like, this is beautiful, man.
No, it's great.
Yeah, but
it just doesn't make any
can't
sense.
use it.
Yeah. And or find out that what we're saying is absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, we wanted to do this. Hopefully, we can do some more in the future. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
The one thing for sure, we appreciate everything that our Patreon supporters do for us. It allows us to do so much. It might allow me to buy a better video camera if we're going to keep doing this.
Well, that's true.
So we'll see. But that's it. That's
All right.
it. This comes out on Saturday. We haven't even talked about what's coming out the day after because we don't know.
We're kind of working on a couple things, so
we haven't made the decision. We're recording this so early.
when you tune in on Sunday night.
Yeah, normally we would tell you what it is, but we can't. So
They're going to be good.
they're always good.
So, yeah.
All right, go hit the button, Gibbs,
Go hit the button.
and then we'll do a countdown.
Then we're going to roll the chairs back in.
Yeah, we'll get this wood slotted one back in. I got to get this all back to the rental company.
Right.
Because if it goes, I don't want to pay an extra day.
I don't blame you. I mean, I can pan over there real fast,
You ready? You pan all you want. Pan all you want. You ready?
It didn't record.
It didn't? It did, didn't it?
It did.
All right.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.